And did you formerly work for Valdosta Daily Times?
I did.
You know Roy Taylor?
Yes.
Identify him as sitting in front of there.
Yes, sir.
And what was your job at Valdosta Daily Times?
I was the city beat reporter.
Speak up, speak up.
City beat reporter.
And who holds that position now?
G.B.R.
And stay right on the second vote.
Yes, sir.
I'll ask you whether or not Roy Taylor approached you and asked that you work for him, even though you're working for the Valdosta County.
When I see Roy around town when he found out that I had left the Times.
You had left town.
I had left the Times.
Go ahead.
He asked me would I be interested in doing some investigative reporting for him, specifically having to do with corruption in City Hall.
And what was your response?
I said I'd think about it.
Is it all in your ultimate decision?
I decided not to.
Now, I'll ask you whether or not David Wright, who is sitting on the front row, who is currently employed by Valdosta Times, whether he spoke to you about the same subject.
Objection, Mr. Talon, members of the committee. Now, and I understand this is not a court of law. But now, Mr. Bennett's going to talk about hearsay with this witness, and I have no way. This gentleman is not going to testify, so I don't have a way to rebut it.
Turn around and
Mr. Smith, in all due respect, if you were in court of law, your objection is absolutely valid, but you've presented that we've sat here and let you talk about an affidavit from a woman in Atlanta that doesn't go to the meat of what the issue is here. It talks about what she does as a general practice, and we've let that in, so I don't see any problem with this.
that's exactly why I didn't object to that, because I wanted to inquire in this area to be given the same evidential rights as Mr. Smith was given.
Well, I certainly want Mayor Brady to have the same evidentiary rights, but we've got a gentleman sitting right here, and this gentleman's going to purport to talk about what he said. I see there's some unfairness that goes way beyond the hearsay rule. I mean, this gentleman can say anything he wants to. I have no objection to that, but if he's going to purport to talk about what Mr. Roberts told him, Mr. Roberts standing right here, I perceive there being a big problem. Mr. Roddick can't refute it.
Yes, it can. I'm calling up to it. I don't want to read one check.
Not just he's sitting here in the courtroom.
Well, I think we have already established that the Valdosta Daily Times current employee is not going to testify.
Well, if that's it, well, she says he's not going to testify, but let him personally refuse.
Well, I don't have a power to compel him to testify. I mean, that's my whole point. I don't have a power to compel him to testify, yet this gentleman's about to testify to statements allegedly made by this gentleman. I just think there's a fundamental unfairness to that.
Well, let me speak to that. The fundamental unfairness, which Mr. Talbot, you pointed out, was the exact same thing that J. Smith started by repeating to you what witnesses, including Ms. Ponce in Atlanta, told him. That was not containing information that was not containing her affidavit. That's why I don't object.
And just to briefly respond to that, Mr. Bennett has talked about what the city manager said, other city officials said. I have no objection to that. I respect the decision that they're not going to be here today. I respect that. So he didn't have a choice. Just